We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since it's been out there. The government has been Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be bringing you the latest on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, and we're also going to be talking about none other than Nancy Pelosi, the world-famous investor in the stock market, who seems to just pick every stock perfectly right before something major happens because she doesn't have any insider information. I'm not making an allegation. I'm just saying that she's totally innocent of that. She's actually going to be visiting Taiwan today. And if you don't know, Taiwan is the still run by the nation that had control of mainland China until 1949. It's called the Republic of China, and the People's Republic of China, different, the Communist Party, run by Mao Zedong, pushed them back to the island of Taiwan in 1949. Ever since, there have been a lot of tensions between mainland China, PRC, and Taiwan, the POC, the Republic of China, excuse me, the ROC. And there's been a lot of tensions there. And China has come out and pretty much said, we're going to count this as a provocation if a high-ranking U.S. official steps foot on Taiwan, and that is happening today. So we're going to be discussing the implications that that could have on the geopolitical stage, the implications that could have in the cryptocurrency stage, and we're also going to be covering about 10 different headlines having everything to do with a massive hack on Nomad that seems like no man seems to care about. And we're also going to be talking about the Ethereum 2.0 merge, some active address data, and we're going to be talking about Polygon, and a whole lot more. Guys, we've got a great show lined up for you today, as always, and I'm really excited for it. If you're not familiar with Coffee and Crypto, this is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical, on-chain, and fundamental analysis to keep you up to date and informed on what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. If you do enjoy today's show, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to follow all of us on social media, and also make sure to give a warm welcome to our co-host, soon-to-be host, TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
What's up, everybody?
Boom.
Happy August 2nd. A lot of news today. You know, there's definitely been shows recently where it's like, gosh, there's like nothing in the news. Let's make something of this because we got to continue to just come here every single day and be with our community. But today is one of the opposite days where there's probably a little too much news. So if there's a lot of news and not as much TA, that is why, because there's a lot of things really affecting the market. I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing the market pulse here in a little bit. I'm excited to break down even some of this Ethereum stuff coming out. Because, speculation, we got to see what's going to happen here in the future. But there are some potential fallouts that could happen with Ethereum soon. That as much as we've had some bullish narrative on Ethereum recently, could we potentially be heading into some bearish narrative here very soon, Jeb? We'll see.
That is something that only time shall tell. We are joined also by Smay, rocking a very cool hat. Where'd you get that hat from, Smay?
I got this hat from www.cryptojeb.com/merch.
We said it in unison. That was beautiful.
That is where you can buy a hat just like this.
You guys ought to rock some merch. Wait a minute, Smay. Wouldn't this merch technically be limited time since the branding's going to be changing?
That is. Oh my gosh!
I didn't even think about that,
guys. This is limited time only. Limited time only merch. Get the classic.
Get it while it's hot.
Classic Crypto Jeb merch, and now it's classic Crypto Jeb merch before it goes away forever for good, never to be seen again.
I'm gonna stack up on that.
Buy it now. Anyways,
I am in love with our merchandise.
You know what I love?
The hoodie we had is so good.
You know what I love more than merch?
What?
Tim, guess.
Green names.
I was gonna say fishing, but okay.
Actually, blue names. No, I'm kidding. It's green names.
Blue names are good too.
I'm gonna read some green names here. We got Matt C. We got Mitch Shaw. We got Mike Markle. We got GIS. We got Colin McDonald. We got JoJo. We got Kelly Cullum. We got Mike Lowry. We got Freedom Advocate. He's a new member because he was gifted a membership yesterday. It was very exciting. Crypto JMP. Tyler Main, a lot of new ones. I'm seeing a lot of ones that we don't usually get. Yeah. Justin Eubanks, Agent Gold, Sultan of Salt, Crypto Sec Guy. Who else we got? Mellow Fellow, Philly Fan 61, Brad Geidel, Mitch, I of the B holder, and B as in Bitcoin holder. So I of the Bitcoin holder. And then who else we got here? We still don't have the guy, but we have Grand Roof Incorporated, Dr. Fuzzy
Grand
Eyeball,
Roofing
Mr. Oh, and
Incorporated.
Shadrack Frost, but the name that
Shadrack.
starts with a D is not in chat.
not in.
so
Oh, man.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, we did have some new green names created yesterday because Mike Markle purchased, I think, 5 new membership
5 memberships,
slots
yeah.
for some of you guys. That's awesome.
That was pretty awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for that. And also, shout out to everybody who is not a member but tunes in every single day and does things like hit the like button, subscribes to the channel, hits post notification bell, buys our merchandise, signs up for our affiliate links, joins Club DeFi, follows us on social media, watches our content on the daily. Guys, thank you for everything that you guys have done for us. And I also, even before we get started, I want to give a massive shout out to the cryptocurrency influencer community after the announcement yesterday that I'm going to be stepping back and leaving Crypto Jeb, and Tim's going to be taking over as the face, and we're going to be going to a system where there's a lot more faces on the channel. I got reached out to by almost every single influencer I know, and we got shouted out on BitBoy's show, so shout out to Ben. Thank you very much for your kind words, man, and the text that we've been sending back and forth. Love you, brother. We love the BitBoy team. Just thank you to the influencer community as well. Feel free to send this to any of your favorite influencers who reached out to us. We really appreciate the love and support that we've seen from the community. The cryptocurrency influencer community is very tight-knit, and there's a lot of great guys out there, so very much appreciative for that. But, Tim, I think we have something that we need to jump into, but first, a word from someone.
Yeah, we got a couple different sponsors here. I'm very happy to be sponsored by Anthony Price. He's our CPI numbers.
CPI numbers, which can affect
These are consumer
Whoa!
prices.
your taxes.
Whoa! What a
And
transition!
you need a
What a
CPA
save.
to help you navigate the new CPI inflation numbers. Thank you.
I love
Boom
it.
sauce.
Yeah, if you guys need someone to help you with your taxes, he doesn't just help you with your trading taxes. He's a financial planner who knows how to set you up for a long, long, long time of success. Make sure hit his link down below. Get a free phone call with him. Just find out a little bit more about him. Anthony Price is phenomenal. You're not going to regret it. Just click on the link. Go check him out. But we have, as I said before, a very interesting market polls to get into this morning. So we're going to go that way. The first thing, the big news, you can go over to my screen, Smay. Crypto Bridge Nomad exploited for $190 million in frenzied free-for-all. I'm going to read a couple points from this article. But keep this one in mind right here, this tagline right under. The bug in an upgrade to the Nomad protocol allowed anyone with the know-how to nab funds, draining the bridge of roughly $190 million. Remember that. Not a little bit of money. What was really kind of interesting to me was the response from Nomad themselves on Twitter. We are aware of the incident involving the Nomad token bridge. We are currently investigating and will provide updates when we have them. Does that not sound like just like a response to the website went down? That does not sound like a response to $190 million taken. The Nomad Bridge, for anyone who might not know, is a protocol allowing users to move digital assets between different blockchains, including Avalanche, Ethereum. Now, these ones I haven't heard of. Evmos, Milko Meta, C1, I don't know, and Moonbeam. I haven't heard of those ones, but it's a bridge. While the details from Nomad are scarce, some have pointed to a configuration error in the smart contract that Nomad uses to process messages as the cause, allowing millions to be drained from Nomad's liquidity pool. So, remember I said, let's go back up. The bug in an upgrade has allowed $190 million to be taken. This is a great segue into our next story, and that is about Vasil hard fork. Yep, you guessed it. There's a video over here. You guys can go to Charles Hoskins' Twitter. Go follow him. Watch this. It's about a 7-minute video,
Charles
6:44, where I actually got to watch the video last night. He just breaks down what's going on with Cardano, and he explains, hey, there was a bug that his team didn't really like. And so they're they're sure that they're going to get it fixed. They actually are really optimistic about what they just did. That's going to fix the whole thing. But he explains, when you have a bug, you don't just fix that bug and then move forward with the problem. You got to go back to the beginning and start testing everything all over again. The same way he compared it to a launch of a rocket. If something goes off, you hit the kill button. If there's like an alarm that goes off, even if it's just the smallest little detail, and that rocket still has a 99.9999% chance of being completely fine, you hit the kill switch. You check it all out. You start the process over. So I'm just going to ask the question for everyone who's worried and concerned about Vasil's delay once again because of bugs. After reading this headline about Nomad, are you still worried about delays due to bugs? I think we can all agree that it'd be nice to save ourselves $190 million.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's up to you. I'll let you guys do whatever you want. Matic news we had this morning for anyone who might be concerned. Some news broke that Matic is under pressure as 1.4 billion tokens, billion tokens, were moved out of vesting contracts. So, in case you didn't know, there was a tweet from Blockwork researcher Sam Martin. He stirred concerns wherein he noted that 1.4 billion Matic tokens, or 14% of the total supply, had been released from the vesting contract over the past hour. The tweet gathered enough attention, especially from Polygon community looking to find the reason behind this. However, Polygon founder, now this guy's gonna stay with me on this one, Sandeep Nailwal, I think that's how it's pronounced, came up with an immediate response by ending the speculation. Nailwal noted that the funds have been unlocked over a year ago. On his Twitter handle, Nailwal wrote, "This was a planned movement from the tokens, which as per vesting have been unlocked 1 year back. These are staking, foundation, treasuries, etc." He added that Polygon will come with a major announcement very soon regarding the movement of the tokens from the vesting contracts. So anyone who is really concerned about what's happening there, it sounds like this was all part of the plan. I will want to see the details. Make sure this isn't just a cover up because something happened that wasn't supposed to and he's just trying to keep, the boat from tipping over. But details of some of the biggest moves. 7 of the 9 blockchain transactions appearing in the screenshot are 25 million Matic tokens each. Polygon has given a complete breakdown of the tokens moving out of vested contracts. 640 million, which is worth 6.4%. This quantity of tokens will be staked directly by the Polygon's co-founders as per Polygon and includes 2 vesting unlocks as per schedule, October 2021 and April 2022. 546 million, the Polygon Foundation will hold this supply and will be available to be tracking anytime. They have the same vesting schedule as above. Polygon said, as always, the team will update the community beforehand on any movement from Foundation wallets. And then the last one, 200 million, which is worth 2% of the Matic supply. This includes staking rewards vested tokens from May to December 2021, period, as per the schedule. So, not at this point, I think, a reason to be too concerned. I think the Matic space is kind of calmed down, but we'll keep our eye on this as this moves forward. This, of course, is, Matic is one of the more exciting tokens for 2 different reasons. First of all, it was one of the biggest moving ones over the last month. But also, there is that question that a lot of people are asking, and I've been asking and kind of going back and forth myself about when ETH 2.0 launches here in September, what will happen to Matic? As it stands right now, I've actually changed my mind. I've made videos in the past where I kind of said, hey, I think there's some concerns here. I'm not saying Matic's going to die, but it's going to have to readjust. But at this point, I think actually, and we're going to talk about this here in just a second, when ETH 2.0 launches, I don't think that's going to be a killer to Matic. I think Matic will actually be able to branch out and start doing a lot more of its own things, but it still will outpace Ethereum far and beyond with speed and transaction time. So at this point, let's keep an eye on this story. But Matic, I don't think there's too much of a reason to be too concerned right now, and they still got a lot of a bullish future for the upcoming months.
Tim.
Yeah,
I think there was a bit of a typo in the Nomad article. Yeah, it was 190 million Luna that they lost. That's why they didn't make a big deal out of it. It just, it's like $10. Who cares?
No, it did. No. That wasn't. Let's transition to Ethereum. So Ethereum has also been really big, and of course, Matic Polygon Matic is the layer 2 solution that everyone loves on Ethereum. Ethereum's got some big stuff. I want to start with some good news. Let's start positive. Let's keep uplifting.
Positive Tuesdays.
And then we'll move into the negative. Ethereum, the flippening. That was something we talked about yesterday. If you haven't heard of the flippening, sorry. It's not going to happen. But Ethereum overtakes Bitcoin in options market for the first time. So this is kind of a boat of like, hey, is Ethereum starting to make that flippening come to fruition? Not going to go too much in this article. Pretty much Ether has flipped Bitcoin for the first time in the world's largest options market. Jeb, do you think that's anything significant? Do you think this is just a blip on the radar? What are your thoughts about that one?
No, I don't think it really matters all that much.
It's just, headline.
There's more volatility in Ethereum. It's moving faster. It makes sense. I mean, that when you see the fact is Ethereum's up 100% from its lows a month ago. Bitcoin's up 30%. There's more gains. So of course people are going to be trading it with more volume.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a reason I read this article. You got to take your W's before you get your L's.
That's right.
Get that good feeling before you get that kind of gut punch. We're going to keep moving on. Ethereum, come on now, article. Ethereum slides 6% amid growing merge concerns. Now, this article isn't of itself too terrible. It's more speculative, but it is sliding, and it does, there's a lot of speculation from the person who wrote this article and the source from it. Ethereum's bearish price movement may be attributed to growing concerns regarding the future of Ethereum and its miners following the merge. More on that miner merge here in a second with the next article, but he's quoted here. how do you say that name? Evgeny?
Evgeny,
Evgeny
think. I knew a
Gavoy?
guy in high school that named Eugene that spelled it that way in Russian.
Welcome back to Tim Butchering Names segment we do here on the show.
That's
There
a
are a
pretty
lot
easy
of
name to butcher.
A lot of potential risks with Ethereum merge, says the CEO of Wintermute. The fact that people have been working on it for years doesn't mean it will work out perfectly. And yes, there was a lot of excitement with Ethereum when that news broke, but excitement is starting to wear off. And some of this dip I do think is accredited to, and we're going to talk about that here later on in the show, to Nancy Pelosi and her Taiwan visit to be, let's see if that actually comes to fruition. But a lot of it has to do with that. But the other thing is that Ethereum's excitement is wearing off a little bit, but it doesn't stop there. What Ethereum has at loss, Ethereum Classic or ETC is picking up. Ethereum Classic records a 40% weekly surge astride the merge, and here's why. So this article goes into a couple different things, but the biggest thing, this could actually be the ETH 2.0 launch could be beneficial for Ethereum Classic. Crypto influencer The Martini Guy opines that the main body Ethereum transition will also benefit the original blockchain of ETC as well. He's quoted saying, core mining community needs something to do with their miners, so a resurgence of the original Ethereum is likely. So this begs kind of an interesting question. Jeb, I know that you're not the biggest fan of Ethereum Classic, but do you agree with the Martini Guy that this potentially could be at least a short-term bullish move for Ethereum Classic as Ethereum seeks to kind of solve and transition to proof of stake?
Yes, but I think it's an incomplete thought. I think in the short term, it probably will lead to some more interest in ETH Classic, as all of those ETH miners using the same mining protocol will be able to move over to Ethereum Classic. Got a lift back.
Was it
my
the
tongue
cat
got in the
from
way.
Looney Tunes?
I know, my tongue got in the way.
There we go.
No, I think we're going to see a lot of those miners move over to ETH Classic, with a C, not an H, and we're going to see them try to recuperate some of the upfront investment in capital that they put into those miners. The thing is, short term, it may have a positive impact on ETH Classic, and that's not even a guarantee. However, in the long run, this is actually even worse for ETH Classic, because it means that if the miners are moving over to ETH Classic, it means that ETH 2.0 has gone online, and ETH Classic is left even more in the dust. ETH Classic is so far behind Ethereum, and Ethereum so far behind other projects like Cardano when it comes to development. It just goes to show you that when ETH Classic is sitting at number 19 on CoinMarketCap, a lot of the valuation that some of these cryptocurrencies have comes from their name and from the community, not the utility. So I'm not saying ETH Classic is useless, but I am saying, why would you use ETH Classic if Ethereum exists? So those are some of my thoughts on that.
And it makes sense. But again, I do think that there's a potential interest there that, as this all emerges, there could be a little boost in ETH Classic, just because there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, I could see that.
Last story, though, on Ethereum, and this one is probably the daddy of them all for the bearish parts of Ethereum potential future. Analyst calls for caution as Ethereum active addresses spike to all-time high is not a good sign. So a few of you know, I've been talking about this for a little bit, and Kelly came on the show, and we weren't able to get on the chart specifically, but we were talking about how if you had been looking at on-chain metrics for Ethereum here a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, you were going to notice that actually when you compare a lot of the larger altcoins in the space, Ethereum had the fewest weak hands in the market, most strong hands. So that kind of prepared it for a nice little pump. Well, something has changed. In a CryptoQuant quick take shared earlier today, CryptoQuant analyst Martin, I don't know which one is pronounced, disclosed. I think I specifically chose articles of people I couldn't say their names today. I don't know why I did that. Analyst Martin disclosed that the recent spike in Ethereum active addresses is not a bullish signal, as it has historically indicated a local market top. Now, I want to see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. I don't know why I didn't prepare that beforehand. There we go. Oh, I can't sign in. What? Look at that. Well, if you guys can zoom in, it's going to be really hard. You guys are going to see these red boxes kind of, and these are all times where we've peaked on active addresses. And this purple line's reason it's the all-time high for active addresses in Ethereum, and almost on all these boxes where we had peaks, we ended up following with a downturn in price. He's quoted by saying, when we observe the historical data on Ethereum, active addresses, something that catches the eye is that every time when active addresses spiked above 575,000, it points to a local top, the analyst wrote. And here is the deal. With the price of Ethereum, yes, having a nice rally over the last week, but not getting anywhere close to its all-time high, yet setting all-time high for active addresses, you just got to kind of follow the logical steps. Guess what that means? A lot of those addresses are new, and a lot of them are retail investors. Guess what a lot of new retail investors means? There's a lot of weak hands in the space. So does this mean Ethereum's rally is over? That means it has to crash back down to 700 automatically or back to 800 or whatever? No, it doesn't have to, but you should know the bullish sentiment we had here a couple weeks ago that it did not have a lot of weak hands in the space is no longer in play. Now the problem with Ethereum is there's way too many weak hands in the space, and yet the price, as much as this nice little rally has happened, it's not good for it. That's a place where a lot of institutions and whales and experienced traders can take advantage of some of these weak hands and potentially use this as a short opportunity, suppressing that Ethereum price. We're going to have to watch, see what that happens, but keep your eyes on Ethereum, guys. That is a good catch from this analyst. That's not a good sign on the on-chain charts, but we'll keep you posted on what's happening with Ethereum from here on out. The last story I'm just going to kind of reference, and then we're going to talk about it more in the second segment after doing some TA. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi believed to be headed to Taiwan. By the way, that's tonight, raising tension in China. Really interesting stuff going on. I'm not even getting into it. We're going to read this article when we get down after TA, but scary / weird stuff happening here. A lot of question marks, and I'm no geopolitical expert, but I feel like you don't have to be to break this down as to question why it's happening. That being said, though, Jeb, I'm going to leave everyone on a little hanger right there. Let's, if there's any super chats, I don't know if there's any super chats. If there are any, Smay, I don't know if you were tracking that. We can read some of those and then jump into TA.
Boom. Well, I don't think there's any super chats.
I don't think there's any, so we can jump into TA.
If you guys drop any super chats,
No
by the way,
super chats.
thank you for all the super chats yesterday because all of those went
Yes.
to Life for the Innocent. Thank you for all of those super chats, and thank you for any that you may drop today. We're going to jump into some technical analysis to clear up the speculation in chat because some people are asking questions. Yes, I am going to be stepping away from the Crypto Jeb channel. That announcement was made on stream about 55 minutes into the stream yesterday. There was an official announcement and press release on our Twitter, so make sure to go over and check Twitter for official information. There are some rumors going around. Any information that we have released regarding that is on our Twitter, so I will direct you back over there for any official information on what's going on, the transition. Tim will be taking over as the face of the channel, and we're going to have a lot of different faces on the channel so that we can continue to build the brand of a collaborative community rather than a personality brand like what we are doing right now around me. I've kind of got to step out of the way a little bit and allow for the we to grow instead of it all being about me because it was never about Jeb in the first place. A lot of things to talk about there. A lot of it was discussed yesterday. We're going to leave that discussion for there, but I do want to shout out everybody who showed their love and support on that. We might talk about that a little bit more later, but now's the time for TA, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to start with Bitcoin, guys. We talked a little bit about the long-term perspective on Bitcoin and how it looks like we may be hitting a local bottom on Bitcoin in correspondence to what we have done in past, going back to the previous bull markets and bear markets. As you can see, we compared the current time that we're looking at right now to the bottom here in 2015, the bottom here at late 2018, 2019, which I was present for, and also this bottom here in 2022 that we are currently experiencing. There are a number of reasons to believe that we could be very close to a long-term bottom. Some of those reasons having to do with what we see on the BLX, Brave New Coin Liquid Index chart for Bitcoin, going back with the most history Bitcoin has for its price action charting. You can see this moving average right here is the 50 weekly moving average. It's more or less the 1 year moving average. You can see we have bounced off of it 4 times in history, this being the 4th time. We dropped all the way down to the 100 weekly moving average. That's basically a 2-year moving average, and we are currently fighting to get back up above that 50-week moving average. Bitcoin right now is fighting with itself, trying to make sure that it maintains a higher price than what its average has been over the last year. And the average price of Bitcoin over the last year has been around $22,000. That's what we are seeing show up right here. You can see in my settings, excuse me, I said 200. I meant to change that. My apologies. Got the wrong number there. I was talking about the 200. I meant to say that. Give me 1 sec. Got to update these. We can see that what I meant to say was the 4-year moving average. I knew something didn't sound right when I said that. That is not the 4-year average, $22,000. The last 12-month average for Bitcoin around $41,000. Last 4-year average, 200-day, sitting right here around $23,000. And so what we're seeing is that Bitcoin's attempting to bounce off of that crucial level. And if we are able to get above the 200 moving average, I apologize, then what we're going to see is a lot of bullishness. Now, the confusion I was running into was the 50 monthly moving average, which shows up out here on the monthly chart, because as you can see, we're also bouncing off of that. More or less the exact same line, just on a different chart, because it's 4 times the moving average, 1/4 the time, or 4 times the time frame, 1/4 the moving average. So we're seeing the market bounce off the 50 monthly moving average. That's where the confusion came in. The question now becomes, what do we do with this bounce? Are we going to see Bitcoin go through a major rally, or are we not? Well, we kind of have to step back first and take a look at the geopolitical space, the broader traditional financial space, and then we got to look at the technical analysis space, and then we're going to zoom in and look at some of the shorter term technicals, because there are some bullish technicals, but also some concerning ones as well. Geopolitically speaking, there is a war going on in Eastern Europe. There is, as we're going to discuss later, mounting tensions and escalating tensions in the South China Sea having to do with Taiwan. I'm going to break down the history of the conflict between the PRC and the Republic of China over on Taiwan. I'm going to break that down a little bit, give you a geopolitical background for what's going on with that little mini Cold War going on over there, and why Nancy Pelosi going there is such a big deal. Point for our discussion here on Bitcoin is that there's a war in Ukraine. There could be, at some point in the very near future, in the South China Sea. There is a global food shortage that is beginning right now because a lot to do with international shipping, with grain exports being locked up and rotting in the port of Odessa in Ukraine that's being blockaded by the Russians right now. That's an entire we can make an entire video on that. There are a lot of geopolitical factors right now which are slowing down growth around the world and putting a lot of nations and individuals under a lot of pressure, even basics like food pressure, into food scarcity and water scarcity. So we also see that there's a lot of things going on traditionally in the traditional financial sector. First of all, we have just confirmed, based on what we've always defined a recession as entering a recession with 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. Quarter 2 came back at 0.9% negative. If I remember my number right, Tim, you can correct me on that. I think it was 0.9% negative in quarter 2.
Yep.
So we have now seen 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. That means that we are in a confirmed recession. We're seeing the housing market stagnate very quickly in the United States with rising interest rates. Interest rates well over 2% on the federal funds rate right now, meaning that housing interest rates are going through the roof. Money is getting literally more expensive as a lot of companies are running off of debt right now. So it's causing a slowdown in the economy at large. Inflation is running away with itself. A lot of difficulties in the world right now that we did not see at the bottom of the previous bear market, and that's where we bring it back into technical analysis. We are looking at a very similar market to what we saw happen in 2015, where we bottomed out here around $200 to $300 on Bitcoin, and here in 2019, where we bottomed out around $3,000 to $4,000. We're in a very similar technical environment. The difference is there's a very different geopolitical environment. The question is, does the geopolitical environment, and this is kind of the central question I want to go in on, does the geopolitical environment being tumultuous drive people to Bitcoin or away from Bitcoin? Well, that really has a lot to do with the institutions and where they are looking. Are they in a risk-on mentality, or are they in a risk-off mentality? Because we were under crisis in March of 2020 when the pandemic began and Bitcoin dropped 50% in literally a day. Bitcoin dropped from over $6,000 to just over $4,000 in the span of a 24-hour period. From there, though, the bottom came in. We rallied 1,500% in just over a year. We were in crisis during 2020, and Bitcoin still rallied. The reason for that was because the printer was on. And because the printer was on, the institutions were in a risk-on mentality. Right now, the printer's off, and the interest rates are hiking, and the institutions are in a risk-off mode. Some of the very smart ones, like MicroStrategy under Michael Saylor, are in a mentality of buying the dip. A lot of them are waiting to see what the tidewaters are going to do over the next 12 months as interest rates continue to rise, and then if the recession deepens, unemployment starts to go up, housing market gets in trouble, if the Federal Reserve lays off a little bit and then drops interest rates and turns the printer back on, you're going to see a massive run on Bitcoin. Point is, we're in a little bit of a limbo right now. Bitcoin's trading sideways on the longer-term perspective. And that has a lot to do with geopolitical factors and United States national policy having to do with finances. So I just want to lay that foundation. We talk about that a lot. It's really important that we remember the background for what Bitcoin is experiencing right now because, yes, technical factors are important. This is primarily and has always been a technical analysis channel. We cannot ignore the fundamental analysis, and we cannot ignore the on-chain either. That being said, they are important, so let's look at the technical analysis. Right now, one of the things that's concerning to me on Bitcoin is that it is growing, but it's growing relatively slowly. If we look at Lux Algo on the daily chart, for example, Bitcoin has rallied some, but we are under a buy signal that has not yet been confirmed, and we're currently backtesting the trend catcher, sitting at $22,700. We're seeing Bitcoin set higher highs and higher lows, but only barely and not with a great deal of strength. On the daily chart, we can also see that RSI is in the green, above 50, but only at 53. We can see that MACD rallied above the zero level, but only just, and it looks like it's about to turn over and start going back to the downside. I would encourage you to take a very close look at what we're seeing here on MACD. We did have some very deep bottoms on MACD, double bottoms, which historically mean that the bottom is in. at least in short term. But the fact is, we have gotten above the zero level, but not with much strength, and the histogram is making lower lows, which could indicate a rollover coming soon on Bitcoin. There's not a lot of strength coming out here. On top of that, if we look at Ethereum, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin dramatically. Why? Why is there so much interest going into Ethereum? Well, ETH 2.0 is allegedly coming up. That's driving, as we talked about earlier, a lot of retail into the space, because the retail that stepped out of the space 2 years ago but knew enough about it to keep up with it are stepping back in now, because ETH 2 could come out and it'd be a buy the rumor, maybe not sell the news, but probably sell a news event. The issue with that is what Tim talked about, the historical on-chain data, that whenever you see a lot of active addresses on Ethereum, normally a top is coming. And also, if the retail is coming in to get into Ethereum, track with me here, they're coming in to get into Ethereum in hopes of a September 19th launch of Ethereum 2.0, and either one, something goes wrong, anything goes wrong on ETH 2.0, even just the slightest thing goes wrong on ETH 2.0 and bad news comes out, Ethereum probably takes a nosedive for a little bit and is going to have to recover over the course of months. And then that retail that just stepped back in are going to step back out. And instead of getting into Bitcoin, they're going to get into Ethereum, and then they might get burned. And then we're going to have another leg to the downside on Ethereum, which could cause a drop on Bitcoin.
Well,
it's a big challenge.
What I was going to say, Jeb, is it's so sad that in all reality, when we look back on this time, all the retail investors who are buying right now, these are good prices to be buying.
They are.
And what's going to happen is, it's going to top, and we're going to go back down, and they're going to FUD out and sell at a loss, and then not want to get back in until they see an Ethereum price be back around $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, maybe even higher than that. And it's like, man, if you were newer, if you were an Ethereum retail investor who bought in because you saw the pump, and then it crashes again, consider just staying in. Consider just saying, I'm going to ride this Bronco, and I'm going to be in loss for a couple of months. But it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad, just like you just said, Jeb. A lot of people are going to get burned, and then they're going to think, well, I was wrong the last time it pumped because that pump looks so real. And we discussed that on the show too, that this rally is doing everything that you see when you're actually going to start seeing a bull run come back. But there is still this level to it that was like, this is a fake out. This is a false rally. And people are going to see the next rally and say, well, I just saw a false rally happen here a couple months ago. I'm not falling for this one either. And then by the time they finally get back in, it's when we're hitting back towards all-time highs.
Hey, guys, look, take it from me. I don't claim to have anything that was not given to me by the Lord, but what I have been given is a lot of experience in cryptocurrency. I have been here for a very long time at this point. I've been here almost a quarter of my life, which I haven't lived very long, but I've been here for over 5 years now. As of 2 days ago, that was my 5th anniversary, if you will, of being in cryptocurrency. I have watched Ethereum go from $300 to $1,400 to $80 to $450, down to $81, up to $5,000. I have watched this market move for the better part of a decade now, which is very crazy to say, but it's true. I have Ethereum that I bought at $130. I have Ethereum that I bought at $180. I have Ethereum that I bought at $300. At the time, during the pandemic drop, it's like, oh, man, I should just hold cash. World's falling apart, giant pandemic, God knows what's going to happen here. I'm going to hold on to my cash, and I'm going to sit back and say, nope, I'm not investing in anything because this market just dropped 50% in a day. That was the temptation. I'd been in the space 3 years at that point. I was what many people would call an expert at that time, and I was tempted to do that. I doubled down and started dollar cost averaging in Ethereum. I have dozens of Ethereum that I bought back then that despite Ethereum being down 70% from all-time high, those investments are still up 700% from where I bought them. And that's because I allowed myself to buy the dip, and I believed in the space. If you want to be successful in cryptocurrency, you have got to believe in it. Period. If you don't believe in it, try to go get rich somewhere else. Try to go find financial sovereignty somewhere else. You're not going to find it in many other places anywhere near the way that you're going to find in cryptocurrency. That being said, if you don't believe in cryptocurrency, then you need to go find something that you do believe in. Maybe it's not the space for you. I hope it is. But I'm not here to tell you what your calling in life is, and I'm not here to tell you where you should be. I will question you. If you don't believe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency when it's going through its hardships, and there may be reasons not to believe in it. There are projects that we don't believe in. But if you don't believe in the project, then don't invest in it. But if you do believe in the project, go all in. I'm not saying be unwise. I'm not saying invest more than you're willing to lose. I'm saying if you believe in this, then believe in it, dang it. I believe in cryptocurrency. I'm not going anywhere as far as crypto is concerned. I'm stepping back from the channel, but I'm going to be just as involved in the cryptocurrency space with investing, and you probably will see me more on other shows at some point in the future. The point is, I believe in this space, and I have bought every single major market correction that this space has ever seen, including this one. All of that to say, Let's jump back to Bitcoin, and then we're going to look at Ethereum and Cardano, and we're going to jump into this Nancy Pelosi news because it has an impact on the outlook of the market as well. Bitcoin on the shorter-term time frames, 1, as I said, could be rolling over on MACD. 2, as I said, does not have bullish confirmation from Lux Algo on the daily chart. If it did, this would be a different conversation because that is a ridiculously accurate metric. Let's just take a little pause there and I'll show you why I believe so much in Lux Algo and why I believe that you should get Lux Algo. I will just go ahead and highlight all of the most recent, all of the confirmed buy and sell signals over the last year. That whenever I'm showing you guys Lux Algo, I show you guys the last year because I want to show you historical precedents for the indicators that we're using. Lux Algo is a very powerful technical indicator, and I'll go ahead and show you right now why we use it. I'm just drawing a vertical line at all of the confirmations that we have seen on Lux Algo over the last year and a half, going back to November of 2022. I'm going to go ahead and take the bands off, and I want to show you why we use Lux Algo. I haven't shown this, the reversal zones I'm going to turn off. I haven't shown this in probably a month, but I want you guys to know why we talk about Lux Algo and why I take this not being confirmed so seriously. I'm going to show you all of the confirmed signals. Now, to give you my methodology, the way I use this part of Lux Algo is I look for the buy and the sell signal and the confirmation by trend catcher. If I don't have both of those, I don't count it as confirmed. So let's start back here in November. There were 2 signals that were literally right next to each other. We saw a sell signal that was confirmed, and then we're going to go until the next buy signal and see what the market did. We saw that this was probably the worst of the signals in this last year. We saw that this market, this sell signal led to a 2% loss, so that was an accurate signal. The buy signal here led to a 100% gain. Sell signal moved to the downside. We can see from this to right here, negative 4% movement. The buy signal rallied up 46%. Sell signal, again, these are confirmed signals. Looks like this one actually was not accurate. We saw about a 1% growth instead of a sell side, but that's only if you bought back in on the sell signal. This did lead to a downside movement. I'm going to move through this pretty quickly here. These are unconfirmed because trend catcher did not turn red with that sell signal. Green worked, red worked. We can go forward. Buy signal worked, sell signal worked. All of these, just you can pause and look at this. These signals are all remarkable, and pretty much every single one of them has led to exactly what they said they were going to do. That being said, we do not have that confirmation right now, and so that's one of the concerns I have, is that Lux Algo is not confirming itself with trend catcher. In fact, we're pulling over, we're rolling over and pushing to the downside, and MACD says we could go farther. If you do not have Lux Algo, you are missing out. You should sign up for it. Use the link in the description box down below. Use coupon code JEB, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. You will be glad you did. We know the CEO and founder of Lux Algo. He's a great guy. They have a great product. They have a great team. Incredible research going on back there. And for all of you who have questions on that, feel free to visit their website. But sign up for Lux Algo. You'll be glad you did. That's where I'm getting that signal from on the daily chart. Another thing I'm looking at here is that we are currently in a rising trading channel, but to be clear, we could, by the way, look at how gorgeous these buy signals are, just calling the bottoms on all of these. This is just incredible. All of these buy and sell signals. The last, on the 4-hour, Tim, have you seen this on the 4-hourly chart? Lux Algo has been batting 100.
It's been doing well.
Down here on the 4-hour. It's ridiculous. So good. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, just so you guys know, on I think yesterday, Ben announced he's going to start using Lux Algo. He's going to start trading again.
Really?
He's going to start trading and using Lux Algo. So, yeah, I saw someone say in chat, which one's better, Lux Algo or Market Cipher? I'm going to be honest, they're both good. I prefer Lux Algo.
I do too.
And so, I mean, that's just me. But,
yeah, I was out. I went out to the stadium, Ben Hill Griffin, with Sean Mack when he came down, and he told me, "Yeah, I'm gonna try and start working with the BitBoy team."
Yep.
So there you go. That was like 8 months ago, so I knew that was coming. How about that? It's cool the things you know in crypto when you've been here for a while. Anyway, the fact is, Lux Algo is absolutely crushing it on the 4-hourly chart. It's under a sell signal. As of yet, that sell signal is unconfirmed. Be keeping a weather eye on the horizon, if you will, for Bitcoin having a drop down below, probably about 22.5. If that happens today, Lux Algo will probably flash a confirmed sell signal, and then we're going to start dropping into this buy zone territory. I would be careful about buying in this territory because we could be going into a more prolonged downtrend right now on Bitcoin. We just don't have the strength that we need. We're seeing an anemic movement here. If we look at some of our moving averages, we can also see that the moving averages, the sensitivity on my mouse just changed. There we go, fixed it. We can see that the moving averages here are providing some support on the 4-hourly chart. You can see the 50 and the 100 providing some support on the chart. The next moving average is down here on the trend line that's moving to the upside, as you can see right here, being set by both of these bottoms. I would not be surprised at all if we saw a drop on Bitcoin down to this trend line, down to just shy of, down to just below 22K. And then you're going to see a decision point. Do we hold 22K or do we go back to $20,000? And if we do, in correspondence with geopolitical factors, that could end up leading to a big drop on Bitcoin. I personally think we're going to hold the $18,000 to $20,000 region. What I'm saying is that it could come under fire here in the next week.
You know what's sitting at $22,000?
What?
The golden pocket on Fibonacci retracement.
Yep, it is.
Go to my screen real quick, mate. The levels we're looking at right now, we're wrestling with 0.5 on Fibonacci, and you're seeing there's some pockets right here in volume. But I think if we cannot hold if we can't hold that 0.5 around 22.6, I really think, look at that line where we're starting to see an uptick in volume from the VPVR. Or someone pointed out, I have it labeled as a VRVP. It's the same thing. Just they switched the letters around. It's sitting right above that golden pocket. Golden pocket starts around 22.1, is the bottom of it's around 22,000. If we can't hold that, and then let me get rid of the Fibonacci and get rid of VPVR so I can show you guys. If we cannot hold those levels, the next kind of logical thing is, Jeb talked about this trading channel we've been in. We could potentially come down. Actually, I have to pull it back up. VPVR, you're going to see, has that peak spot right there on 21,150. And guess what? That would still be a higher low, and then hit that trading channel, the support level, and then begin to rally as well. So keep your eyes on that. I think 22,000, that golden pocket, sitting right around right here, I think that's going to be a good spot to keep your eye on, especially with all this bearish. Even if it doesn't come to fruition of being anything serious, just the fear alone of what's happening right now in Taiwan could push us down that low, if not lower, to the bottom of this trading channel. But we're going to have to hang tight to see that one.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick peek here at Ethereum and also at Dono. If you did not watch my video on Cardano yesterday, you absolutely should. Vasil is going to be coming out, slated for the end of August, if that does go well, and it probably will. Cardano tends to have some pretty solid launches. They get delayed because they want to make sure it's coming out correctly, but when they do come out, it's typically pretty good for the price and typically very good for the fundamentals, obviously. But let's take a look here at Ethereum. As we talked about, Ethereum's undergoing a very quick rally. I do question where this balloon is getting inflated from. The reason is we are in a downtrending market. We're technically entering an accumulation phase, I would say, on Bitcoin. The concern is that Bitcoin is only up 33% from its local bottom. Ethereum is up 100%. Well, if you remember back to one of the things we talk about that I've made a video on in the past, just look up CryptoJeb altcoin engine. I talk about the altcoin engine. Typically speaking, whenever a bull market starts, the first piston to fire is Bitcoin. Normally, it's not the altcoins. Normally, a major uptrend, I'm talking about a primary trend, so a bull market, is not fired by the altcoins or by Ethereum. It's typically started by Bitcoin. And the reason is very simple. Bitcoin is the thought leader of the space, if you will. Everybody follows Bitcoin in the sentiment-wise, on the retail side and also on the institutional side. If Ethereum is moving very far to the upside right now, and Bitcoin is not, everything that I just said lays a foundation that begs the question, where is the money coming into Ethereum from? And why is there money flowing into Ethereum when there is not money flowing into Bitcoin? Now, an argument for why that may be occurring is because Ethereum has dropped farther than Bitcoin. It's dropped 81%. Bitcoin, as so far, has dropped 75%. This is true. 6% drop doesn't make that big of a difference, especially if you're considering the fact that Ethereum has rallied even to where it is now, 76%, at local top, 95%, whereas Bitcoin, from bottom to local top, has only rallied 40%. Where's the money coming from? As we talked about earlier, it's hype coming in for Ethereum 2.0. Retail's jumping in because they hope something's going to happen, and they're probably going to get burned because Ethereum 2.0 is probably going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, because as big of an event as ETH 2.0 is, it's probably not going to go off without a hitch. I'm not saying Ethereum's going to die or anything, but it's probably going to have some bugs. And it's probably going to lead to a drop in the market, which could cause not as big, but a Luna-style fear in the market. The concern that we run into right now is that if Ethereum is trying to lead this space, and it's not the leader, and it's not in the middle of a bull market where an altcoin season can kick off and the altcoins go crazy and everybody's super pumped for the gaming space and the metaverse space and the NFT space and the altcoin space and the platform space and the protocol space and the Web3 space. People are not excited about that right now. That's being developed, but the enthusiasm's not there. The sentiment is not in the proper place for an altcoin season to start, so why is Ethereum pumping? Ethereum does not have the power or the sentiment to lead an altcoin cycle right now. Bitcoin is most likely going to need to be the asset that pulls us out of this downtrend, out of this bear market, out of this accumulation phase, wherever you want to say we are right now. That's the concern I see on Ethereum. I love Ethereum. I'm very excited to see that Ethereum is sitting at $1,600 right now. I would caution you. Ethereum is probably not going to start the bull market. It's probably going to be Bitcoin, and it's probably not going to be that soon. So that's what I'll say on Ethereum. Now, as far as Cardano, I talked yesterday about 5 different levels that Cardano needs to get through in the afternoon video. If you have not watched that, I would encourage you to go and do that. We need to get through 56 cents, through 60 cents, through 67 cents, then through 78 to 80 cents, and through $1. I think all of those levels are likely, and I do think you'll see a $10 Cardano probably a lot sooner than you think. You're probably going to see a $10 Cardano in the next 5 years. In fact, I was going to say I would bet. I do bet that it's going to be at $10 in the next 5 years because I am seeing that the Cardano space is doing extremely well. And the price isn't reflecting that yet. But in the same way Amazon's price was not reflecting the powerful fundamentals of Amazon in the late 90s when it dropped 98%, but then went on to rally 23,000% in the next decade or so. I think you're going to see a major rally on Cardano. The thing is, I think the next major event that's going to break this sideways action on Cardano is going to be Vasil. Vasil's slated to launch here in less than 30 days. Hopefully that happens and goes well. We have seen launches in the past. I don't have the exact dates in mind, but there have been launches in the past on Cardano that have led to major upticks in the Cardano price action. I think you're going to see a buy the rumor, sell the event style news. But even if we do see a buy the rumor event up to 80 cents and we back test to 67, that would give us a new high and a new higher low that we could use to start building exuberance towards the upside. But remember, what I just said on Ethereum applies even more to Cardano because Cardano is a smaller asset. The altcoins are likely not going to bring back the bull market. That's probably going to have to be Bitcoin, and Bitcoin right now is being held down by a multiplicity of fundamental forces, including interest rates, geopolitical forces, and news such as Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan. So we're going to talk about that and more. But should we go ahead and read some super chats before we jump into that?
I think we only have 2 from old Kelly Kellum, and both of them were kind of accomplishing the same thing. It was about. Did you want to read them, May?
I would love to.
Go,
I feel like
do it.
You know, I feel like I don't get to engage enough, and I feel like this is my way.
I love it, man.
So
you do it.
Good job, May.
Here we have from Kelly Kellum, a member for 12 months. Shout out to Kelly Kellum. I love that guy. He said, Pelosi being escorted by Taiwanese Air Force due to land within next 10 to 15 minutes, and that was posted at 10:25, so they've already landed.
Yeah.
And then he said, donated $5, said, any offensive action from China will lead to market volatility. Uh-oh.
Precisely. And that leads us very well into our topic here, which is that Nancy Pelosi is the highest ranking U.S. government official to land and step foot on Taiwanese soil in the last 25 years. The last time that anyone of her caliber, of her rank, I should say, interesting phrasing there, anyone of her ranking in the U.S. government landed in Taiwan was Newt Gingrich in 1997. At the time, he was the U.S. Speaker of the House. Of course, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House as well. So this is an equivalent deal. I don't know if it's actually public what she's doing there, but the fact is that she's in Taiwan probably for a business reason. Hopefully, she's not going and trying to find more insider deal. Oh, wait, I'm not alleging that she's doing that. I'm just asking a question. I just want to know how somebody that gets paid $187,000 a year or whatever she gets paid is worth $400 million. I don't know. It's just a question. Yeah. Got the same question for Gary Gensler, by the way. Where'd all your money come from, dude? Oh, wait, you're the head of the SEC. It's almost like you might know some things that we don't. Why are you allowed to trade stocks? Different topic. Point is, Nancy Pelosi just landed in Taiwan, seemingly in just the last few minutes. Let's back up. You guys like it when I give you a history lesson. Why is this such a big deal? Drop a 1 in chat if you keep hearing about Taiwan and you're wondering why it's so important. You keep hearing Taiwan versus Chinese Taipei. You keep hearing war in the South China Sea. You keep hearing Mao Zedong. You keep hearing all of these things. What's the background here? I'm going to try and be very brief. From 1912 to 1949, there was a ruling party on the mainland of China called the Republic of China, and it was modeled after Western democracies, and it was a Republican-style government. Now, I'm not going to claim that the Republic of China was a perfect government. It certainly wasn't. There were a lot of conflicts that happened there. The point is that it was not necessarily as bad as the regime that came in under Mao Zedong, where a lot of very horrible things happened. I'll leave it at that since we're on YouTube. Mao Zedong led the Chinese Communist Party from the early 40s through the Second World War, and they had a civil war going on between the Republic of China and the PRC, the People's Republic of China, led by General Mao Zedong, who later became more or less the leader of the Chinese Communist Party and the first leader of the People's Republic of China in the late 40s. There was a civil war going on between the communists and between the more democratic Western-style government, the Republic of China. That civil war led to a horrible amount of travesty on mainland China. During that time, Japan, the Japanese Empire, was rising, and in the mid-30s, Japan Japan started moving into mainland China through their holdings in Korea to take over Chinese Manchuria. When the Japanese stepped foot on the mainland, the two Chinas laid down their arms and fought together against Japan. Of course, the war ended. Japan kind of let go of their imperial ambitions, and the Civil War came back on. In 1949, General Mao Zedong, leading the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party, pushed back the Republic of China to the island of Taiwan, and that's where they've been ever since in exile. Both nations claim to be the official government of mainland China. Both governments have a genuine claim to that title, and both governments at one point or another have sat at the Big Five at the United Nations on the United Nations Security Council, which comprises the United States, Russia, Great Britain, France, and China. Originally, it was Chinese Taipei, which is what China calls it. We call it Taiwan. Taiwan was originally on that council in, I believe, the 50s. Mainland China, the People's Republic of China, was growing enough. They had all the mainland, so they took over the Big Five in the National Security Council. Got nuclear weapons, one of the largest armies on the planet. And of course, you know that there's almost a modern Cold War going on between China and the United States. And nobody wants to call it that, but that's pretty much what's going on. Now, so that's kind of the backstory of what's going on with Taiwan and why it's so important. Mainland China wants to eradicate the Republic of China and what it's turned into, which is Taiwan, because they see them as a threat to their claim to being the one China. China on Taiwan says, hey, we want mainland China back because you guys took us over and are rebels and you are fighting against us. That's the issue. Both Chinas want mainland China and Taiwan, and it's been a conflict for a very long time. Neither one of them are willing to capitulate. So there's been a little Cold War going on between both Chinas for going on 70 years now. Mainland China, naturally being the second largest economy on the planet, one of the largest militaries in the world, a major nuclear power, wants to have Taiwan. The United States, however, doesn't want that to happen because there's a line of military bases on a multiplicity of islands, including not the island, but the peninsula of South Korea, Japan. Guam is a part of this, the Philippines, and Taiwan. These are places where the United States has a military presence, or at least the ability to quickly install a military presence, which pretty much keeps the Navy of China stuck in the South China Sea and in the Yellow Sea. Because of that, if China takes over Taiwan, they would have the ability to have their Navy break out without the United States realizing that submarines are approaching the United States west coast. That's why Taiwan is so important. This is one of the biggest geopolitical events going on of our time, and because of a lot of the factors going on in China involving water crises, involving a housing crisis, involving a house of cards economy that they have going on, and a population crisis, demographical crisis, China, by a lot of economists and geopolitical analysts, pretty much has this decade to solidify themselves as a global superpower, the global superpower for the next 100 years. But if they're going to do it, it has to happen this decade. You're probably going to see some conflict happening in the South China Sea over Taiwan. That's unfortunate, but we're talking about the reality here. If that occurs, it's probably going to be because of a straw that breaks the camel's back. All of what I just said lays the foundation for why it's important that Nancy Pelosi is stepping foot in Taiwan. There is a conflict going on here, a Cold War, if you will. It's been going on for 70 years. And anything could trigger it. Right now, we have seen the fall of Afghanistan in the last 12 months, and the United States didn't really do a whole lot. We're seeing Ukraine under siege right now. The West has imposed sanctions. There's not been military intervention, which I agree with. By the way, I'm not saying that. But the point is that the powers that be, the old Soviet bloc, is able to press forward. China could be getting emboldened right now. If they're going to take Taiwan, now might be the time in their mind. So if they're going to do that, they need a casus belli, is what you would call it in the Middle Ages. You need a cause, if you will. Now, it doesn't have to be a very good one, but they want to be able to say on the geopolitical stage, this is why we invaded Taiwan, because this happened, and because of that, we have a right to go back and make sure that we are sovereign, or whatever. It'd be a stupid reason to cause any kind of confrontation. But China could theoretically say, Nancy Pelosi stepped foot on the island, now we're going to go ahead and send 100 fighter jets over Taiwan just to scare them. This could become a geopolitical event in the next 12 to 24 hours. If it does, that's going to shock the United States stock market. That's going to shock the already damaged Chinese stock market. That's going to shock the European stock markets. It will cause ripples going around the world if there's any kind of conflict going on here. What Bitcoin needs right now is it needs geopolitical stability, and it needs cheap money flowing into the economy so that we're not seeing a massive recession going on. I'm not saying that printing the money is the way that we should be getting out of a recession. What I am saying is that that's probably the most likely way that Bitcoin's going to go to the upside. As Kelly said, and as I'm explaining in a long-winded fashion with some history, we need to see Bitcoin having a stable geopolitical background. And by the way, another factor here, Bitcoin is a proof of work digital currency. Those ASIC miners have to have computer chips in them. Taiwan makes between 80 and 90% of microprocessors the world over. And they are generations ahead of microprocessors as far as technology than anyone else in the world. They're working on, I think, an 8 nanometer system. Pretty much the rest of the world is still working at 14 nanometers. They have the most advanced chipsets on the entire planet, and China realizes that, and they want that power because you can manipulate the entire global economy if you have that power. If something does happen in Taiwan and those factories shut down, Bitcoin miners stop getting made, more or less. And the price of Bitcoin miners goes through the roof, and that could cause a massive problem with Bitcoin. Now, it wouldn't cause a fundamental problem that can't be come back from, but it would cause instability in the market. There's a lot of factors here. To wrap it all up into a bow, instability in the South China Sea with Taiwan causes instability globally. What Bitcoin needs right now is stable geopolitical relations. There's reason to believe that that may not continue to occur, and there may continue to be geopolitical instability. So, Tim, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How would any kind of confrontation, I'm not talking about all-out war happening in Taiwan, but any kind of international conflict happening in Taiwan, how could that impact Bitcoin?
Yeah, this is one I've definitely said. I was talking about this morning. I'm no geopolitical expert, and the history that you just laid out right there, Jeb, was absolutely beautiful. Reading the article that I was reading this morning about it, I'm not going to go into it. I don't think we even have time, but there's a couple questions I have even from reading it, and it makes it sound like, first of all, is this just China? Let's stop and before we jump into why Nancy Pelosi is doing what she's doing, that's a whole can of worms itself. Has China just been biting at the bit for an excuse?
Yes,
and
they are.
This is the excuse that they're going to come up with. So then the next question is, all right, heck, what are you doing, Nancy? Why are you going over there? I'm not a geopolitical expert, so it's weird. I'm about to say something that sounds really funny. I've got to give her the benefit of the doubt that she has a reason, although I still am going to question that reason. But as it stands right now, I was confirmed. I was going to watch George this morning, Cryptos R Us, and he's kind of the same boat I am. What the heck? Why are you over there other than just poking the bear? And let alone the article talks about, literally, China has said, if you come here, if you do this, we will see this as an attack, and we will not be idle. We won't stand idly by. They're getting their troops ready, and she's now there, so I'm only assuming what they're getting ready. Even White House officials were saying, hey, we don't really want to cause any conflict, but this decision is up to Nancy. Nancy, this is like sticking your hand in a fire and saying, listen, fire, you better not burn me. Because that's what they're saying. Actually, I will show the article right here. Real quick, I want to show this exact quote. The White House National Security, let's see where it says it. Kirby, John Kirby, said administration officials are concerned that Beijing could use the visit as an excuse to take proactive retaliation steps, including military actions. Let's see, I'm going to skip down to where they said it. Put simply, there's no reason for Beijing to turn a potential visit consistent with long-standing U.S. policy in some sort of crisis or use it as a pretext to increase aggressive military action around the Taiwan Strait. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, I couldn't remember which one said it, also urged China to act responsibly if Pelosi proceeds with the visit. If the speaker does decide to visit, so they left it up to Pelosi. Why? First of all, pause right there. Why are we leaving the decision of going up to Pelosi herself?
Why does Nancy Pelosi have any decision?
That feels like a national security thing.
People of California, vote for just about anybody else.
Anyway, here we go. Keep going. China. Okay. If she does decide to visit and China tries to create some kind of crisis or otherwise escalate tensions, that would be entirely on Beijing, he told reporters at the UN headquarters. We are looking for them in the event she decides to visit to act responsibly and not engage in any escalation going forward. All right, so going back to it. That is like sticking your hand in the fire and then blaming the fire for burning your hand. Does the fire burn? Absolutely. So don't tell the fire not to burn. It is your fault for putting your hand in the fire, not the fire's fault. So unless I'm missing something huge here, and I don't think I am, I don't see anywhere there's any reason for her to do this other than her to just, maybe she just got pissed off. Maybe this is one of those things that's like I was told I wasn't allowed to, so that makes me want to do it even more. I don't know. I don't know why she's over there. It just seems like she's putting her hand in a fire and expecting the fire not to burn her. She's poking the bear. There's so many analogies you could use. That's my thoughts, Jeff. I don't know. We're going to watch this unfold.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Tim?
Go ahead.
Tim, I want to know why highlight things on the article if you're going to basically highlight the whole article.
Oh, no. You want to go back to it? This is a long article with lots of things that are not highlighted. So,
okay. I stand corrected. Just the block that I saw on the screen was
those are the important parts.
Was just like the whole thing was highlighted. I was like, why even highlight it?
Before we knew it was official, that was all the parts highlighting, what China was saying. If you come here, this is what happened. It was a report from what the U.S. was saying. So nice try there, Smay.
Well,
I thought we had an alliance to be nice to each other, but apparently that's over. So
I was
get ready
being
for
nice.
tomorrow.
It was inquisitive.
Get ready for tomorrow,
Hey,
Smay.
Tim, I did not break
Oof.
the alliance. I was being inquisitive. I was asking a question.
He was being inquisitive.
And I was proven wrong.
And I was proven wrong.
Thought we had an alliance, Smay.
I thought we did too, and I feel like now
just
you're
violated it.
you're the one trying to throw it away. You're
just
now
violated
putting your hand in the fire.
Now you're making
and
this
saying,
about something it's not supposed to be about. Let's
Okay.
get back to crypto.
Back
Matt
to
C
you.
made it very clear
Jeb.
that Nancy ain't his girl. He said that in chat. I think, Matt, I don't. Isn't she from like South San Francisco area?
don't know where she's
Matt C,
from.
I don't think is in San Francisco. So that's right. That's fair. Guys, Nancy Pelosi at it again. Time will tell when she will begin not manipulating market. No, I'm joking. I have necessarily no evidence for that, but I do have my questions. I can question things, but I can't say
Yeah.
for sure that she's doing anything wrong. That would be a little bit wrong of me. Guys, here's the deal. Bitcoin needs stability. It needs interest rates to be dropping a little bit. It needs to have a strong market. The stock market growing and doing well, and Wall Street doing very well over the last 2 years does not mean Main Street's been doing very well. As far as I'm concerned, I've said this many times, we are in a recession, not just for the last 3 days, but for the last 2.5 years. Ever since the port shut down, the plane stopped flying, and restaurants stopped serving, the economy has been in a spiral. It's going to take time for that to recover, and it will never be the same. It will be different, but it will never be the same. The point here is that Bitcoin is going to learn how to grow despite these things, because the people that understand financial sovereignty are going to invest in Bitcoin no matter when this market, no matter where this market is. So that's what I would like to say on that.
We just had a super chat come in from
We did.
Danny Bowie, I assume. I don't know. B-U-I. She has to visit to build relationships and protect U.S. interests. $3.34 trillion worth of reasons why. Thank you for the update. Do we not have relationships with Taiwan? Like,
do.
Are Taiwan and us at odds in that,
No, we don't have. So Taiwan does not have an official alliance with either China or the United States. They don't have an official alliance with the United States. They are closer with the United States. We're pretty much all but allies with Taiwan and everything but name, because if we said we were allies with Taiwan, China's pretty much said they will invade. The point is that the chip manufacturing lays the foundation for the entire electrical age. There's probably 30 there's probably 30 electronics in this room alone that have microchips that came from Taiwan. Taiwan is the single most strategically important island on the entire planet right now, and has been for decades, and will continue to be that way for a very long time, because a lot of the chip, the latest microprocessor technology is held close at hand by the companies that run the microprocessing factories, the fab labs over in Taiwan. That's going to continue to give them a super weapon economically that nobody else has right now. China wants that, because if China is able to take Taiwan peaceably without destroying those factories, which would be difficult, if they're able to take that peaceably, get that research, get that technology, that would honestly be enough for China to take over as the world's largest economic power and solidify their economic domination of the entire 21st century. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal.
Yep.
And it needs to be handled delicately. And it's a much bigger than Bitcoin, although it does have massive implications on Bitcoin. Thank you so very much for the super chat, and thank you guys so very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to follow all of us on social media. You can follow Smay. Is it still at Smay Nakamoto?
It is Smay Nakamoto. I haven't changed it.
Make sure to follow Smay at Smay Nakamoto over at Tim's TA. Tim's underscore TA, right?
underscore TA.
Tim's underscore TA. Follow me at CryptoJeb over on Twitter. Make sure to follow us on Instagram as well, and over on TikTok too. All of those different social media handles are in the description box down below as well. Make sure to sign up for LuxAlgo, best indicator that you'll ever buy. Make sure to sign up for that using coupon code JEB, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. You'll also be helping to support our channel through this transition as I step back and Tim steps in, and we start to see a lot more faces showing up on the channel. Really looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and it's bittersweet, guys. I'm very excited for what the next couple of weeks have. Can't wait to see where this goes. Guys, I am firmly firmly a believer in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, a believer in financial sovereignty and what we're doing here, firmly a believer in Club DeFi, firmly a believer in this channel and this team and where it's going to go. Cannot wait to see what it's going to do, and you guys will see more of me. I don't think the next few weeks here that are my last on Coffee and Crypto are going to be my last in the public eye. I think you guys are going to see more of me if that's the direction that I get led in, and I think that I have more to say to the world, and I do hope and pray that I can continue to share the love of Christ with you guys and to continue to bring you content in some capacity, not on this channel, but in ancillary manners, so keep an eye on that. I really do appreciate the following over the years. This is not the last Coffee and Crypto I'll be on. That'll be in a week or two. That'll be in a few weeks. Official dates on that will be coming up when you see them. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.